I know you feel it. Everybody does. The vast majority of people feel lied to. They feel deceived. They feel tricked. The life that you were told that you were supposed to be living as a youngin' just doesn't seem to be computing in your older years. That could quite possibly be because most of us was ill prepared for a life that was never gonna happen. Or should I say a reality that we were never gonna actually live. And I think this is because you can't be taught how to exist. Human beings learn through mistakes. There was never a right or wrong way to exist or to live or to experience this life that we've been given, because it's essentially always a trial and error game. Compulsory schooling unfortunately played a very big role in this, in the conformity of most people's lives, and teaching us how to simply fall in line rather than do the things that we know we ought to do, to live a life that we know we ought to live, and act on desires and passions, personal values, beliefs, and things that we know are just right to us. Basically, most people just trained to be robots, and I think that's what sucks the most, is because those years that we were being taught was the years where our minds were the most moldable, the most palpable. And if you weren't being taught how to live the life of a producer, of a creator, the life of a value-driven individual to produce results for somebody else, you were only being prepared to live a life of servitude and to basically build somebody else's life up. Each of us play a collective role in this thing we call reality. Life, right? There's a lot of good that goes on in the world, but we also know there's a whole lot of evil. There's a lot of darkness, there's a lot of light, a lot of happiness, a lot of sadness. I mean, this is the trivial journey of every human being. We can get into the quantum physics, the neuroscience, and the psychology of it all, but the premise for this video is just to let you know that you are the creator of your own reality. I think it's more of an abstract thought that we have about how to live and create a life for ourselves, but it doesn't have to be abstract. I think it just comes down to you knowing the tools that you've been given, how to leverage those tools, and how to live the life that you personally want to live instead of the one you were taught. The beauty of it is that no one can really teach you how to live a life that you think is effective. No one can really teach you how to live out your own passions. It's just more or less an experience that you have to go through. Human beings, we strive for having a sense of purpose. We strive when we feel like there's things that we're going after that make us feel whole, that make us feel alive. And when we don't have that sense of purpose or wholeness through a creative work or a meaningful work, life just seems meaningless. So I think the point and the goal of what we should be doing every day is doing things that actively make us feel alive. It's a tragedy to wake up living someone else's life, living a life that you were taught instead of the one that comes natural to you, doing things that comes natural to you. And we see it play out all the time. It's a literal process from the moment you wake up to the time you go to sleep. You wake up, you brew your coffee, your hand slams down on the alarm to get it to shut up. You drag yourself out of bed, you go brush your teeth, maybe grab something to eat, get in a car, go to a job you cannot stand, just to get there, participate in 8 to 10 hours of work you still can't stand, all to come home, get on Netflix, play some video games, try to soothe yourself of the pain, because that's really all that shit is just you trying to mask a pain that you feel like you can't get rid of. You fall asleep on the couch or in the bed scrolling just to wake up and do it all over again. I mean, is this like where we're at now? Are we gonna normalize this? Granted, yes, it's a very devious system. It's a beast of a system, right, that we've been indoctrinated into. But it only has control over those who don't see a future for themselves, who have fully been immersed into the system and believe that they have no intrinsic value in order to change it. Each of us play our own role in living our society. And I think that until we come to terms and realizing that we are responsible for every action we take, for every move we make, there's absolutely nothing coming for us. We have to wake up to the reality that the vast majority of our lives we've been asleep. Whether you want to realize it or not, you've been put into a game and you've been forced to compete. But only those who recognize the game itself have the ability to win. Infinite players don't entertain finite games. If you plan on winning at life, learn to play with boundaries, not within them. Recognize that your present reality was comprised of past choices. The game is rigged, but if you understand the rules, you already won. Yes, the vast majority of us can understand and see that life is not fair. But was it ever supposed to be fair? Was it ever supposed to be easy to begin with? I don't think so. Why? Because name anything that grows under comfortable circumstances. Anything. Name anything. And I mean this with the most sincerest and purest love in my heart for people who feel a deep struggle in their heart to become more. Why? Because I've been one of them. This ain't no like tough love video or motivational kind of sense of video. This is more or less a video of making you understand that you are the author and the creator of your own life. We relegate our power, our ability to act and do things in the now to outside sources. Now, granted, yes, there's a very real powers outside of our abilities that we can't control. We can't control tornadoes. We can't control floods. We can't control earthquakes, pestilences, diseases, cancers, right? That's neither here nor there. We understand we can't control that. But I'm speaking in a sense of our actions and what we can do in the now, as in the next move that we make and how that can prosper us in a future that's still to come. There's only a handful of things that humans really need in order to survive. Resources, shelter, food, water, clothing, a mate. That's pretty much it. So when the bare minimum resources are taken care of, what else is next? Once you're able to cross off the list and check off the list all the necessary things that you need in order to just make it in life, what's the next step? If there is no next step, then you're going to be caught in trying to live a life that's been pre-programmed for you. The average person has been taught to go to school, get a job, make a couple dollars, build a nest, save your coins, prepare for the worst, live out the rest of your lives in peace, die geriatric in an old home, or if you're lucky, in the presence of some people who love you. But where's the passion in that? You can't find passion and purpose in living a pre-programmed life that someone wanted you to live. The only true way to live a life that means something to you is to take risks and do things outside of the norms that you've been taught. Reality is created, and the society that we now live in was created by risk takers, people who decided to go outside of the norms and do things that most people would never do. I'm truly passionate about this topic because if you talk to anybody, and I mean anybody, study your surroundings, you are going to be immersed and filled with thoughts and ideas from people who desperately want to get outside of their bubble, who want to do things that they feel like they just can't for some reason. And this burns me up. It does something to me because I'm sitting here trying to process what is the reason why you can't. Why do you feel so stuck? If life is a game and it's supposed to be played to win, by understanding the rules and knowing how to bend those rules when it's time to do so, you can make reality bend to your will. It's understanding the process of learning when to say no. It's understanding the do's and don'ts. Understanding that the majority of life, no matter what the goal is going to be the majority of you saying no. You have to be able to say no. And the only thing that you should be willing to say yes to are the things that matter. Are yes to the things that's going to create a life for yourself that you actually want, and not one that someone has pre-programmed for you. If you're going to have any chance of not only surviving, but learn how to navigate and thrive in an ever-evolving society, the study of metaphysics, spirituality, psychology, and human development will play a crucial role in doing so. It will be impossible to know where you are going and get there if you are unaware of your tools and ill-prepared for the journey of how to get there. Knowing your unique abilities, along with developing the skills necessary, can ensure you arrive at the exact destination that you desire for your life. See, I think that's the problem. Most of us don't even know what intrinsic abilities, skill sets, and the things that we have within ourselves that we can use as leveraging tools, stepping stones to get to the life that we say we want. Life is 100% mental. It doesn't matter if you're an athlete, doesn't matter if you're a master chess player. Everything is 100% mental. You cannot make it to a reality that you want for yourself if you can't see it. There's even a biblical verse to back this up: where there is no vision, the people perish. So without vision, without a goal, clear-cut goals, shrunk down into smaller goals, which leads ultimately to the big vision that you have for yourself, you're not going to make it. You have to be able to see it before you get there. But synthesizing those goals down into bite-sized chunks is what's going to make the difference. You have to be able to plan it out in days, weeks, months, years, decades. You have to be an infinite player in a finite game. And I say finite because our lives don't last forever, right? We're not God incarnate, so we can't create another 100 years for our lives. The time we get here is the time we get here. You have your birth and you have your death. Everything in between is what you decide. Some of us only gonna have till 35, some of us only gonna have till 50. This isn't a fearmonger video, so don't pay attention too much to the time scale here. But every day should be you moving with intention to create a life for yourself that you want. Most of us feel very hopelessly dependent on the system that we've been born into because we haven't even experienced life for ourselves yet. We're still living life on autopilot. And it's this autopilot that keeps you doing the same things every single day, creating the same patterns, recycling the same cycles every single day that you wake up to. The moment your eyes open, what are you grabbing? Your phone. Once you grab your phone, you're pre-programmed to go to certain apps. You look at those apps, you go down your feed, all of which is in the past, because that's all your mind is. It's a memory bank of the past. It will only act on what it's been known to do. What the cycles that has been known to play out from the course of which you were taught something, all the way up until now. So creating a new life means you breaking old cycles, creating new patterns, and you creating new neural networks within your brain, linking new ideas together to create a whole new life, to create a whole new reality. We are born dependent on family, friends, our environment, parents. We were dependent on educators. It's only after we become proactive by attempting new feats, like attempting to walk as a toddler, driving for the first time, dieting, running a marathon, starting a business, do we begin to express independence from external stimuli. Community is an integral part of our survival as humans, but we are never supposed to be codependent, but rather express our value to one another through interconnectedness. So the goal for you and for me, every single day that we're alive, should be to create value for someone else. When we see ourselves trying to come up in life, we feel a sense of inferiority, or we don't feel as though we can measure up to certain individuals. Why? Because we feel ill prepared to be in their presence. Through nurturing your abilities, through acquiring certain skills, you'll feel more prepared to be in certain circles. It's a man's gifts that makes room for him. So you have to, some of us are like, everyone's not LeBron. Everyone's not going to be inherently gifted with the body of like Zeus, who can jump 30 feet in the air like some Michael Jordan in Space Jam. Some of us got to work a little harder than others, but that doesn't mean that you can't make it there. That just means that you may have to go through another avenue. You might have to take another back alley. You might have to work on what would be perceived as a weakness and turn that into a strength. This life is about you continually evolving into someone else, recognizing the perceived value that you carry as a person, as a human being, playing to your strengths and abandoning your weaknesses. I mean, we don't have a lot of time to get it right. So the goal should be for you to do the things that you know you're already good at. And for the things that you feel like you're not good at, or you don't have something that's already inherently great within you, then you need to acquire skills. And you need to stack those skills until you feel like you're capable of doing something different. Studying your own mind, recognizing that you're also a spiritual being, will do tremendous wonders for you mapping out the future that you want. Reality is created by your actions, by your independent free will, your creative imagination, and your ability to act in the now. Honestly, there's really nothing that you can't do. There is no barrier. There is no self-limitations, but the ones that you place on yourself. Recognize what that value is, and if you don't know what it is, then create it. Be responsible for the life that you say you want. There are no pity parties. No one is going to feel bad for the fact that you still have yet to figure this thing out. My kids wrote on this, but I figured it still is relevant. No one is coming to save you. I thought it was relevant to throw in the video, so I said it, but there it is. Recognize the fact you're an infinite player playing a finite game. Recognize the rules. Play to win. It's time to get proactive on the things that you say you want. Create a goal, write it down. Reverse engineer the goal and start putting together building blocks to reach it. And begin each day with the end in mind. If you stack your goals appropriately and you know exactly what you want, you'll begin to create the life that you say you want for yourself over time. That's all I got, folks. Feel free to click like and subscribe. I pray that the video was of any value to you. If it wasn't, you can't thumbs down me because YouTube doesn't allow that anymore. But you know, if you didn't like it, I'm sorry. But if you did, click like and subscribe. I got a whole lot more content coming for things like this. For people who are looking to level up their minds, create businesses, live the life of an entrepreneur, and live out their independent free will, and live a life off of the matrix on their own terms. I love y'all. Keep creating reality and know that it is created by you and that you are fully responsible for it. Peace.